All right, this is what we covered last time when we were doing lists, right? This is where we actually store. Today we are going to do the next set, which is about sets, right? Let me make my screen bigger like this. Okay, so now what is set actually? Set is also a collection, so it acts approximately like the list. But then the unique thing about set is that when the content in the item or in the collection is a duplicate, it's a duplicate, and then it avoids that. It only keep one. For example, this list, for example, we can add another lemon to it, right? So if I print the, let me comment this out. So if I print this fruit variable, let me do that dot that main dot that, you see there is lemon, lemon, apple, orange juice. So there's a repetition of lemon, lemon, two items in the list that are the same. If you are using set will make sure that this repetition does not occur. So it's a collection, right? But you cannot keep repeated items inside. So it helps you to make sure that when someone enters something and the thing already exists in the collection, we just keep one of it, not a duplicate or triple of it, right? That's how set helps. But at least keeps the same thing like you do. And now how do we now create a set? We are going to change the where you have list, right, to set. I say it acts the same way set, but then instead of set, right, we don't use the square bracket. We don't use square bracket around it. We actually use the curly bracket. So we open and close with curly bracket instead. So already it's giving me a warning, but ignore this warning point. The warning is about the two elements in a set literal shouldn't be equal. That's the basic rule of a set. So we are using a set now, right? A set acts the same way. If you want a set that will contain string items, it's a string item. If it contains integer item, change this into integer. If it's a bool item, change it to bool, right? The that type of the items inside, each item inside is what we write here. It's the same way as what we do for lists. But the only difference is that when you're using list, you cannot use repeated item. Even if you forget and it is inside, let's print it and see. Let me clear it. So you can see that over here, we don't have a repeated lemon or lemon inside, even though over here there is. So cases where this could help will be where you are allowing users to enter something into a particular collection or into a particular thing for you to use, a particular variable that you are asking multiple users to enter something. But if the thing already exists, right, you don't need to repeat it. You don't need to repeat it, right? You just keep one item and maybe keep it and increase the number of its occurrence, right? Right? Or if it already exists, just override it and just keep that one, unless the thing is different. So if I, instead of writing lemon, I write lemon, then they are different things. Lemon and lemon are not the same thing. So when I print it this time, I'm going to have lemon inside. So let me change this and work with numbers, right? Int. So let me clean this. It's a set, right? 1, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 3. Yeah, I'm just keeping some random stuff inside, right? So let me run this and see. So it's able to keep only those that are unique. It keeps only unique values. If they are repeated, they ignore and they just keep only one that is very unique. They keep them uniquely inside the set. That's how it works. Now we know how it works, right? Let's go back to using the string as before. Okay. Now how do we now add an item to the list? So to add an item to the list, we to the set here is not it's not a list. We use fruits. We call the name of the dot element at, oh no, add, because we are adding, right? The same thing, you can add the thing that you want to add, right? Let me just enter juice over here, right? And I'll print it. So after adding the juice, we'll print it and we'll see what it gives us. So yeah, it has added juice to the list, right? This is add, to add an element. Now if you want to get an element, you want to get one element, is fruit dot element at. So you use the element and you enter the index. So remember, in fruit, when we're doing for list, we're doing fruit, and you add this thing inside the bracket, and right, we have the index inside the square bracket. But when it comes to a set, we don't do the that bracketing because things can be repeated. So what happens is that you have to do element at. So use element at, and inside the square bracket in front of it, you add the index. So you are obtaining the element at the index 0. Remember, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let me clear this. Let me enter this. So I'm getting mango. Mango because it's element at element position 0 or index 0. That's what we have. Now, what if you want to, there's another unique thing you need to know about element at, right? So let me add another one. Instead of doing element at, I'll do element at or null. This one or null, then and the index 9. So you see at index 9, there's no index 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's ending at 4, right? But if you enter an index that is outside the set, right? Outside the set, what happens is that usually for list it's supposed to give us an error because it's outside the index. But then element at or now, make sure that if the element is at position 9, you retain it. But if there's nothing there, you retain now for us. So we run this, then we have now. We have now because there is nothing at position 9, so it will not retain that error for us. But if I return 4, if I do 4, I think that's Lemo. Lemo is the position 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's Lemo. So return Lemo for me. But if I just use element at and I do position 9, we know what will happen already, right? There's an error. Index out of range error. There's index out of range error. So sometimes you are building things your app for people to see, right? So you don't know what users will enter. So it's safer to use element at now if the users are the ones entering the thing at a particular and looking for something at a particular position. So you do element at now or now so that whenever whatever they entered, that thing doesn't exist. It retains a now. Then you gracefully give them a particular message. But then if you make it here and they enter something else, your app may crash. So these are the things that you need to keep in mind. And this is how a set works.